Neville's overhaul. One morning, Neville was taking some fish to Brendan Dock. He wasn't feeling well and was coughing and making wheezy noises for the past few days. Until one afternoon, Neville arrived at the station where the Fat Controller was waiting for him. "Neville," he said, "you need an overhaul." "Yes, sir," agreed Neville. "But does this mean I have to go to Crewe where Henry went?" he said. Not this time," he said. "Nowadays, the people at Crewe couldn't do the work you needed," he said. "I'm sending you to Crovan's Gate soon, where they'll mend you in fine style," he said. Tomorrow you will help Molly pull the express in front," he said. "Do the best you can to help, and you will feel like a different engine after you're mended." "Yes, sir," said Neville doubtfully. He told Molly that night, who was not feeling very happy about this. "Help me," said Molly crossly. "I don't need any help. I can pull the express by myself, thank you. Overhaul indeed." "Please, Molly," said Neville. "It's only before I get repaired," he said. "Maybe the railway museum is where you belong, isn't it?" said Molly crossly. This made Neville feel very hurt. "Two engines at one train is an overhaul if you would ask me," she said. She sniffed, but the Fat Controller had already made the arrangements, and there was nothing that Molly could do. Until the next day later, Molly made her way to the station and was coupled up to the express. Even Neville had to follow Molly and was coupled in front. Molly was not in the best of mood, but when she saw the Fat Controller, she decided not to show how cross she was. "Good luck, Neville," said the Fat Controller. "Remember," he said, "you will be in fine shape at the works at Crovan's Gate," he said. "I've sent Boko to look after your passengers and Donald and Douglas to look after your goods," he said, "so don't worry about it." "Thank you, sir," said Neville, but he was still worried. The guard blew his whistle, and then the two engines puffed out of the station. They did all the best they could, and because of Neville's wheezing, he tried so hard. And they even went past by the engine sheds where Thomas and Stepney were resting. "Good luck, Neville," shouted Stepney. "You're going to need it." "Thank you, Stepney," shouted Neville, and was feeling much better. The express leaves at 10:30 to the other railway, and the two engines were a few miles per hour away from the other railway. Soon they were continuing along. Going up the hill was the difficult part. They went through a tunnel, and they were hurrying along. Together they were doing well. And at last they reached the top of the hill. This made Molly feel better. "That was easy," she said, but she had spoken too soon. Something went wrong, and all of a sudden, the express was pushing the two engines too fast. Neville shouted that he wanted to stop. His driver climbed on Neville to see what was the matter. Molly's driver saw the situation. "We better slow down," he said, and they did. "So, have you looked?" asked Neville. "Nothing that I'm aware of, old boy," said his driver. But then there was a loud crack, and there was Neville's driver off Neville's side and into a thick wall of bushes. Soon everything went disastrous, but not for long. When they've reached the other station, his fireman looked at him all over. "I'm afraid you have a flat tire," he said. "Oh dear," moaned Neville. Soon the guard told all the passengers about the situation and told them not to worry. Neville's driver came back from the bushes and then looked at Neville all over. He did see the flat tire on Neville, and that would mean even more repairs. At last, Neville was shunted into a siding, and Molly puffed away with the express. "An overhaul, is it?" she teased. "Looks like you need retiring," she said, and she puffed off, and she puffed away with the express. Neville smiled. He knew Molly was only teasing. I'm not sure about retiring," he said, "but I do feel a little bit tired," he said to himself. Soon Stanley was called to take Neville to the works at Crovan's Gate. Neville was happy to see Stanley, and Stanley set to work at once. A few weeks later, Neville had finally came back from the works at Crovan's Gate and felt like a young engine again and was never wheezing or coughing at all. But when he arrived at the station, he saw the Fat Controller and looked worried, but the Fat Controller was smiling. "You did a very good thing," he said. "Molly told me everything, and you were a brave engine indeed," he said. "As a reward for all of your bravery, you deserve your own branch line." "Thank you, sir," said Neville. He had never been this excited in all his years and was happy to have a branch line all to himself. And that was exactly what Neville got. He had his own coach, and Neville was happy to have worked on his own branch line on his own. He was no longer coughing and wheezing. Despite Molly's jokes, there was no talk about Neville's retirement at all.